Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We are back in full effect. Yes, I am back in the house for my trip, my long trip to Central America. I won't tell you where. Actually, I will tell you. I went to Costa Rica. Yeah, just around the corner, man. Just around the corner. Yeah, Aldrich will know where it is. Near somewhere near Colombia. Yeah, what's it? Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and then you've got
Hello.
Venezuela, somewhere along there. But yes, we're gonna have a hot topic this evening, and how do I know? Because I'm gonna provoke that debate that we need to have there. But we're waiting for Brother Isaac to join in the House of Fun. The House of Fun? I'm not so sure about that. But we're going to get into this one on the other side of this music intro. You can tell I'm rusty. I was just trying to figure out where's the button. I couldn't find the button. I found the button anyway. Yeah, I found the button. Anyway, let's go to the hellos and the goodbyes. Not goodbyes, not just yet. Brother Prosper, how's it going,
Man,
brother?
not bad, not bad. Malawi is all good in spite of our financial issues, but we're good. We're still smiling.
That's good. You sound like an Arsenal fan, man. We're
Yeah,
still smiling.
we're still smiling.
That's good to hear, man. Cheeky Chappy, back in the house.
Hello, I'm back. Um, yes, happy times for the moment. If you would have asked me last week, not too much, but now I'm okay.
For the moment. For the moment.
Only
So
for the moment.
yeah, so I thought the way we'd open up this show, we could talk about the news that this youngster here, Luis Diaz, his father, thank God, has been released by his captors. And my wife is Colombian, and I'm sure I speak for the nation of Colombians. They would have been very, very upset and angry to see this literally being played out because, I want to give a big history of people being abducted in Colombia, but I'll keep it short. So happy to hear that his mother was released first and then his father was released after. Aldrich, do you want to say anything on this or shall we just move on to?
No, it's important, I think, even if it's short, because yeah, I don't want to go into the politics of it, but basically, it's a practice that is been left behind for a long time in Colombia. Only this particular group does it. And honestly, I don't even think that they had the intention. I think it was a mistake. Basically, they were gonna probably, kidnap them, beat, ask for money. But then they realized that it was a person that it was like a high value target. And it's Luis Diaz, and everybody loves Luis Diaz, and the guy comes from a poor background. The guy, is our number 10 at the moment. He's replacing James, he's replacing Falcao, so he's, the main star in Colombia at the moment.
Yeah,
So we were, I think, all confident that they were gonna release their parents, because if something would have happened, then the public scandal would have been too much. But at the end of the day, we just have to be grateful that they're okay, that they're back. Yes, they check on his dad, and it's like physically he's okay, and he's hopefully something that is gonna stay in the past in the next couple of
yeah,
months.
yeah. Well said. All right, so we've got brother Isaac is in the house. Isaac, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, I can hear you. How is everyone doing?
We are good, man. We're just waiting to roll out the red carpet for you, man.
Here I am, brother.
Good to see you guys back anyway. So the first topic that I wanted to talk about was the Champions League game. The Champions League game. Two strikers out. Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah. I mean, literally, you couldn't make it up. I think one is possibly long term, and then one kind of short term. But against Sevilla, Leonardo Trossard, who seemed to be given the freedom to play across the front three, and Bukayo Saka scored. So not a striker in sight. What are we complaining about, Prosper? What's the argument? Do we need a striker? You're on
Hello?
mute. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we definitely need a striker. I mean, I'm not a gambling person. I mean, football is just like any other thing in life. I'm sure Isaac would agree with me. Proper planning and everything. We had the time to plan for this. It's been happening for the past 3 seasons. We needed like an extra third striker 2 seasons ago. And here we are. It's just like, okay, we lucky Sevilla wasn't as lethal and it wasn't a tough nut to crack. We cracked it. But the next games coming, we'll definitely need a striker. So if he doesn't do anything about it in December, then I don't know where we're going to end up. Same story as last season.
Yeah, I've got an idea where we're going to end up. Alfie, do we need a striker? We didn't need a striker, did we, the other day?
We
Sevilla.
didn't. We don't. For me, it's as long as everyone plays well and they, Trossard can score, Martinelli can score, Saka definitely can score. I don't mind it. Because sometimes we have a striker and they don't touch the ball in the whole game. So yeah, I think you have to adapt to the with what you have at the moment. Obviously, it's not ideal in an ideal situation, but sometimes it's not about the striker. For example, in the game against Newcastle, we definitely missed Odegaard, and we didn't have any chances. We didn't create anything, regardless of the decisions and the controversy, which for me is not a controversy. Um, yes, you have to be the best with what you have, and I think I've seen Man City score 6 without the striker. So yes, like Gondogan scoring 3 easily. But it's not an ideal situation. I'm not a fan. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the number 9 on top Highland type of striker. I see why teams use that kind of player, but before, when we had Giroud, or when we had when we used to play with Arsene Wenger in the latest years, I don't think it was really that important to have a striker. A proper number 9, because our midfield was very, very good. Now I'm a bit worried because I don't think we create as much. Um, but it depends. It's nice to have someone that can, create a chance and score. But at the end of the day, at least on Wednesday, we did okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brother Isaac, we got the job done without a striker in sight. I mean, I never played striker when I was a youngster. I played in the defence, man. But we got the job done without Eddie Nketiah, Eddie N, and Gabio J. Your thoughts?
Well, we didn't struggle on Wednesday. And I thought it was a good game, and it is because Sevilla came with a defensive mind. They primarily their intention was to defend deep, and they were outdone in that sense. But we might have fears of a striker. But even before the game, I wanted to write on the group that I could foresee Trossard playing even before Ketia was injured, because I was watching them train, and I saw Trossard train the finishing touches, and I was like, okay, so we might see Trossard playing in the number 9. And I told one of my friends over here that, you know what, Trossard is going to play in the number 9. And when the lineup came out, we have Trossard playing in the number 9 because I saw the way he was playing, that is in the training ground, like a finishing number 9. The system allows us to play with a false 9 at the moment, and but there are times you need a complete and all-round striker when you have top games, and you there is no room for error. The margins are so minimal. Uh, at the moment when you play against teams like Burnley, I would say you might play around with the free number 9 who's roaming around, but you play a team like Man City, you play a team like Newcastle, or you go away to Tottenham. You need a top number 9, an all-round striker who's going to hold up the ball, come deep, and look for the ball so that you are able to win those kind of games.
But you know, I've said we need that type of striker, and I've been told. But if we were to have that kind of striker, we'd have to change the tactics, and that's just not the way that Mikel Arteta wants his team to play. To have like a target man, that's not the way that we play. We're trying to move away from that, and I'm saying we do need an out and out striker because all teams don't play the same way. You know, much less in the Premier League, even more so in the Champions League. So we need to be able to adapt to the opposition. We can't keep just relying on the false nine, the false nine, false nine. And by the way, Prosper, Alfie, and Isaac, I thought that Trossard was given the free roll to roam across the front three. He wasn't asked to stick on the left-hand side. He was like, they couldn't mark him because he was all over the place. But why couldn't we play like that against Newcastle?
Newcastle played a physical match. They were very physical, and most of the time we are outplayed when we play teams that tend to play physical games. That is where we struggle, and I don't know why we are struggling. If then we are struggling in playing teams who are physical, then we should perhaps change our tactics and do not let the players overstay with the ball. Then you could play one touch ball. You go for a one touch and then you pass the ball. One touch, you pass the ball. In that sense, you are able to bypass the bullies. But when you overstay on the ball, you then bullied, and then you lose the ball, and then going backwards. And then we missed Odegaard, of course. We missed the creativity. That is the biggest miss that we had. I believe, and actually, I'm not ranting, but let me put this across.
If you are.
When we played Newcastle, I was like, you know what? Take out. You do not need a Havertz in this game. You take out Havertz, bring in
To any
Trossard. Bring in Trossard, and you can easily twist that game. And I was like, what is going on? We could see that he's like, he cannot adapt to the tempo of that game. And okay, then of course he's your signing, and you need to prove why you bought him at 65. You need to prove why he's earning 350 and the rest are earning lower than him. But you do not need to force issues. You just give him time to settle into the system and get someone who's already settled into the system and twist. You could have tweaks in that game. Previously, before the Newcastle game, I was very happy with the subs Arteta was making. He said with him he does not call them subs, he calls them impactions. And then if someone is struggling and clearly, even the fans who are watching, we can see this one is struggling. And you are on the touchline and you cannot see that this one is struggling in that game. You do not have a creative midfielder, but you have a Trossard who uses both feet and he
Mm.
can carry the ball and is also creative. You have the creativity on the bench, and I could not really. Okay.
You're ranting. You're ranting, Isaac.
No, but I agree. I agree that it's important to have that kind of player, but it's important also not to rely on that kind of player. We need to be able to read the games properly and say this is what we need. Because yes, Trossard was in and out, and he can shoot with both legs. He can become a problem. When I saw that we didn't have strikers, I didn't know if they were gonna play Trossard or Martinelli up front, but was one or the other. And it was nice to see Trossard at number 9, and it worked.
Now listen, Prosper, I know you're not the biggest fan of Kai Havertz, but I thought he had a good game against Sevilla. Was Sevilla that bad? What your thoughts about Kai Havertz now these days?
Uh, I'm not. I'm going to be blunt on this one. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. For the money, for the hype, and he came from a big team. Chelsea is not a small team. He has been in the Premier League long enough,
Debatable.
and what he's giving us doesn't tally with everything. You know, we've tried to negotiate here and there, but honestly speaking, Havertz is just not fitting into the team. Just before Isaac spoke here, and Alfie said something about us playing free flowing football and systems. I've always had a problem with Arteta. You know, the Arteta that began with Arsenal was so fluid. He could adjust and adapt to any kind of situation. And he could win games that were not supposed to win, even. And that's how we ended up winning some trophies early in his Arsenal career as a manager. Then, when he just began settling in and starting this whole system thing, then everything broke loose now. He's just fixed, he's just rigid on one system, and he can see beyond that system. You see? So here's where we're talking about an established number 9. It's not because we want to be playing one system. There are games where we have to come by counter attack. There are games where we'll be outplayed, like Manchester City. The games where we need to cross in high balls, we need a big fella there just to knock in the headers. And we've got good crossers. We've got Tomiyasu, who's a good deliverer of the ball, Zichenko as well. Those guys can put in the nice crosses, even Ben White. But we don't have somebody just knocking the headers. You know, it's that system. And if you look at it from the back, we're always overplaying it from the back till the opposition defense is settled. That's when we start attacking. Why can't we attack them when we just grab the ball and go fast counter attack like Ateta did it when he just began managing the team? We've forgotten all that. So you find what's his name? Gabriel Migueles or something like that,
Hmm.
going as if he's going to pass left, then we take it back right. We all see that every day. Like the guy on the left side is open, but he will choose to pass it to Saliba for some strange reason. He'll go that side left and then he'll come back and pass to Saliba. Whilst the opposition defense is getting organized. So
Hmm.
tactically, we're looking at a team that I'm thinking Ateta is under a lot of pressure to try and fit in Havertz, one. So this is when the players are just gelling together, you know? And then there's a misfit there in the name of Kai Havertz. A big misfit, as Isaac was saying. In a game where you're under pressure, you've got a Trossard who can score, who's got the target, who's got everything. Put Havertz on bench. Experiment with him on Burnley and other teams. He's not performing, but big games, put big names there. You see, and that's why you find that players like Edin Ketia are not seen to perform because of the system we're playing. We only have one system. Edin Ketia will perform better in a fast-paced game where the defense is not organized, not packed up. You are running against. He's got the pace. Martinelli the same, but we want to let the defense get organized and crowd up the 18-yard box, then we want to attack. So that can't work. So for me, I just feel like we really need to adjust our systems. We need to have about 3, 4 systems if it's going to work well for us. But as for Havertz, I don't think he's an Arsenal player. Let's call a spade a spade. Havertz
Mm,
is not an Arsenal player. We
mm,
just have
mm.
to lay him off.
But Prosper, do you not think there could be a case for him to be used as an impact player coming off from the bench rather than starting him?
I
No.
don't. If he picks up, I mean, we're speaking from a point where the guy is not delivering. But if he starts to deliver, why not? I mean, he might even earn himself a position. But as it is right now, as Alfie was saying, right now we're playing more of a force number 9 game. So we need very sharp midfielders. And he's not creative. The first time I saw that Havertz is not an Arsenal player was amongst his first 3, 4, 5 games. Just his ball control for him to stop the ball and calm the ball. Just watch him. He struggles a lot. So if a person cannot just control the ball, calm the ball with his first touch, he's not supposed to be in the midfield. I mean, which other creative pass has he made apart from the basic pass? You see, or when did he ever split the defense? Never. He's just a typical player. Typical basic player, pass, and we don't need that in our midfield right now. We need players that can ask a lot of questions to the opposition defense. Who am I going to mark? This guy is as good. This guy is as good. But if they already know, Arsenal is already one man down, so they're going to focus on Odegaard. You see?
Prosper. Alfie, do you
It's
not? Do you not? Go on, Alfie.
what can I say? No, I was just building on a little bit on what Prosper was saying is that we're becoming a bit predictable, and that's scary because teams are going to know how to defend against us. And yes, if we keep playing the same system with the same people, sometimes Saka is not having the best of days. I don't see why you shouldn't throw Nelson in. Yes, of course, Saka is always a threat, but sometimes you have to make changes. Maybe he's tired, etc., etc. You need to have your resources in your hand. With Havertz, yeah, I agree 100%. I don't see him as an Arsenal player. His body language is strange. He looks like
Mm,
tired, lanky, like dragging his feet. He looks around, but he doesn't really. He looks out of place. He doesn't pass properly. He has an idea, but the whole team always has a different one. So it hasn't clicked yet. And I just don't understand why the guy is playing 90 minutes. I just don't see why. I said jokingly, but not jokingly, I will give him 3 months, play him as much as you want, but it's just not happening.
mm, mm. But I mean, like you just said there towards the end, 11 games. Is that 11 games? Is that enough to decide whether he won't come good for Arsenal,
But
Alfie?
my question would be, why is Trossard not starting? It's because the guy, every time that he comes off the bench, he's class. Sometimes, yes, it doesn't work, it's not expected, but I think his work rate is top, top, top. He's always going for it. And you change that for a guy that, it doesn't look comfortable. So he's playing with one less for sure, and it's more pressure on Odegaard, more pressure on the midfield. I know that we're a little bit low on numbers, but I would rather have Fabio Vieira starting.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Isaac, do you want to say anything before we go on to the next topic about Kai Havertz?
Yeah, the Kai Havertz experiment is like the Vegost Man United experiment last season, and it is going as bad as it went for Man United with Vegost. You could see Vegost was given every game. He could start every game, and I was telling my United friends, Why are you playing Vegost and he's not delivering? And most of my friends could not understand why, and they were like, because he's assigning for the manager, he's trying to prove everyone wrong that I was right to bring this player into the team. And it is the same thing that Arteta is doing. He's trying to prove every critic wrong that I know why I brought this player into the team. And perhaps he only bought him because he scored the winning goal for the Champions League. That he has Champions League experience. But you can have Trossard deliver in Champions League games like he did, and like he unlocked the Everton game. We went to Everton several times, and it was a ground that we could not win easily. But he unlocked that. He is someone who can he feints the movement and then delivers. I like the way he plays, and as Alfie said, I also don't understand why he does not start in some games. And when you're playing with Havertz, you is like you have a red card already. 11 men playing with 10 men, and you just see his movement, the way he's making his movements. Yes, he tries to look over his shoulder who's there, but one of his greatest weaknesses is ball control. He does not have that fast touch that can control the ball. Like Prosper was saying, he's he has a poor touch, number one. And when you have a poor touch, and you realize this season we passed the baton to Tottenham. Tottenham are playing like we were playing last season. They are quick, they are fast. And that is how we were playing. But this season is like we have dialed it down a little bit. We are playing it too safe. It's like we are fearful of what happened to our title race last season. And we know when you are too fearful, it is also detrimental because you fear what happened last season could also come back this season. And when you are too fearful, the fear comes to show that you are able, it manifests that what you fear, it manifests. Why? Let them be brave like they were last season. Let the manager be brave and play the players who can deliver. If you want Havertz to play, then give him from 70, 80 minutes to try and gel into the team.
But Isaac, last season there was no pressure. This is why I think they performed very, very well, above and beyond our expectations. But now this season, there is so much expectation for them to replicate the performance of last season. And like you're right, I think they're just kind of performing within themselves, and I don't know, man. I don't know. What I would say, Prosper, we've spoken, quite extensively about Kai Havertz. I think one thing we're not utilizing about Kai Havertz's physiology is that he's very tall, and he's probably one of the strongest header, of the ball in our team. Why can't we utilize that part of Kai Havertz, Prosper?
Okay. Initially when Arteta bought
What
Havertz,
do you mean that is a strong head?
initially when Arteta bought Havertz, I was thinking he's going to convert him into a center forward. You see, because I just didn't see him as a midfield player. For me, I didn't see him, so it was like, okay, fine. Probably with his midfield know-how, he wants to convert him to that extra number 9 that we don't have, a big guy who can stand in there and just probably win balls, pass the Trossards and everyone just to finish off and everything. Then I find he's in the midfield, and I was like, it's all wrong. It's all wrong for me. Everything is all wrong.
No, no, but if he would be on top, I would be even more scared.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now he has no first touch. He has nothing. Because then I didn't know he was that bad. But now we know he's that bad. I think he doesn't have a
I
position.
always knew.
Honestly speaking, I just wonder why we haven't given that much. time to Emil Smith Rowe to develop his game. We haven't given him that much time and chance and confidence and belief,
He's
you know,
injured.
because honestly speaking, Emil Smith Rowe has that understanding with Nketiah and all those guys that started the whole new
Yeah.
Arsenal thing. You see? And then all of a sudden, there's Kai Havertz, coming from another team, getting this fat salary. That also has an impact in the dressing room because they're like, we are the ones winning the game, and this guy is just there. So even the other guys would deliberately just put him off just to get him out of the team. You see? So it's all those things. Yeah, so for
Ju- ju-
me, Havertz, no, we just need to think outside the box in December and try to get in. I understand why Trossard, Isaac put up a very important point that he doesn't understand why Trossard is put on bench when Havertz is in. As he was saying again, I'm going to borrow from Isaac. He was he raised the point where he said we've been too cautious. Ateta is also being too cautious because he's trying to. We don't have a replacement for Martinelli. So every time Martinelli is in the pitch, Trossard has to be outside just to give us that safeguard that there's a left winger. But as things are, we can always leave that guard to Nelson.
Hmm.
We need Trossard in the pitch, playing as number 8. We really need him in the pitch. Honestly, just to bring in that unpredictability, that, what are they going to do next? Trossard will give you that. He'll shoot from far. He'll just do something that you don't expect. That's what we need right now in that position.
Unfortunately for Emil Smith Rowe, he's injury prone. I'm like Alfie said, he's out injured, so he's not helping his cause, is he? You got to stay injury free, And I'll extend it to Reece Nelson as well. Reece Nelson is a player. He's been given countless opportunities, only for him to be injured yet again. Although he's not injured now, is he, Alfie? Reece
No,
Nelson?
he's
No,
not. But
no.
yeah, I agree. I agree with Isaac. The thing is, for scoring the final goal in the Champions League, you have to reach the final of the Champions League. And I think if that's the situation with Havertz in the pitch, is we're just not gonna he's not gonna be able to score that goal basically.
Yeah.
But I also agree, as Isaac was saying, we are playing too cautious, and yes, we expect a lot more, but and this is going to be a little bit of an argument, but I would rather lose knowing that the team is playing good, that they give everything, instead of no chances, solid in the back, drawing. It's okay, it's a point, but then there is no ideas. I rather them go for it than just passively try to reach a top four. Like,
Mm,
we know that yes, we need that to be constant, but I think every Arsenal fan wants to win the league. That's what we want. And
yeah,
in order for you to do that, you have to play without fear.
yeah. Which we're not really, are we? Yeah. Anyway, let's take you guys on a kind of memory trip just down the road, just a few days ago. Our first defeat was at the hands of Newcastle, and there was that controversy. Controversy? What was the controversy? Well, actually, after the game, Arteta did not clarify what part he took issue with. The 41-year-old spoke of his embarrassment at the decision to award Newcastle's goal, calling it a disgrace. We have to talk about the result because you have to talk about how the hell this goal stands up, and it's incredible, he said. Now, I understand that the FA have since communicated with Arteta to ask him to clarify his comments. Ah, goodness gracious me. Who shall I go to? Prosper. Just what I'm going to
Is it?
say. What I'm going to say is I put some comments in the group. I'm not sure whether you guys saw the comments I put in the group, the WhatsApp group about. I think a major factor about our sport, football, is the response once the referee has given his decision, the player's response to that decision. When you compare it to rugby, cricket, and tennis, the referee's made his decision, the players just get on with it. But in our sport, the players, the response is not great. Whether you agree with VAR or the referees or not, the response the players give to the official is not the best. And I have refereed a few games under 10-year-olds. And when I give a decision, they don't like it. They give me a lot of mouth. I'm thinking, you youngsters, only like 10 years of age. So surely the biggest problem with VAR and the officiating is the response from the players towards the referees. Now, Prosper, you got to say you're on my side, man. Do you agree with me or you disagree?
Uh, I think I'll stand on the fence on this one because we debate in this topic from a point where we Arsenal fans, what's best for Arsenal, you know, and that's a Newcastle game we lost. So my argument will come from the football side. In the first place, Arsenal shouldn't leave it to the referees to win games to get the 3 points. You see, we're gonna have some games where we'll have bad decisions, and that has been the case several times. So we already know sometimes the referees won't play it to our side. So let's win the game. Let's win it in the first 45 minutes. So that if bad decisions are coming, the game is already rested and it's already 2 up, 3 up. That's okay. Now, when it comes to refereeing, I think one of the things that social media has brought to light is the cracks in the FA system. You know, previously we used to think the English Premier League is so tight, it's airtight. Personally, I'm not saying this is a fact, but I'm just having that feeling that personally the English Premier League is somehow rigged. Personally, I look at it that way because how come some decisions only fall on the laps of other teams? Yet we have some big decisions like the Man City unfair play that keeps pending and pending and pending and pending. Yet we have a VAR thing that you can see on screen. Everybody can see on screen. And now Ateta is being pinned down for speaking out. So are we saying whatever the FA does, even if it does something wrong, no one should speak out and football should go as they want it? If they say this team should win, it should win. Then it's no longer football. Then we're not competing. It's all fixed and rigged.
But
So
Prosper,
for
like you just said at the beginning, all right.
mm,
If we had won that Newcastle game, do you think Arteta would have been still ranting and raving?
no, he wouldn't have.
Exactly.
But still, we would have had an issue to raise. You know, we let a lot of things slide in the English Premier League because we win games. But when they come to haunt us, it's the same things we let slide that come to haunt us. So I think there should be, I mean, if we say computers are going to help us, and I'm in the computer world, if we say computers are going to help us, let them make a decision on that part, not the referee going to say and making a decision, it's out, it's in. Let the computers do it because they're more accurate. They haven't got personal agendas, you know. I think they should leave it. It's easy programming. If the ball, if 90% or 80% of the ball is out, then it's an out ball. So the ref should just follow the computers. I think they are more accurate. Why should we go to a point where the ref has to make that final decision? There are some instances where the ref can make those decisions, but that's basic, I mean, logic that a computer can pick up. So why don't we leave some of these controversial decisions to the computers to do what they are meant to do? Make our jobs easier and more accurate. So for me, I think it's something that we can say. That's why I was saying I'm sitting on the fence. On one side, Arsenal is not doing itself justice. We have a lot of chances. Some games we've had a lot of chances in the first half. We just don't kill the game. And then when
Mm.
something pops up like that, then we start complaining. You know, when you literally had about 3, 4 chances that you'd have buried the game, and you're like, see now, You see, so that doesn't do us well. So that's why I'm sitting on the fence on this one. On this side, the arguments. On this side, the arguments. Oh, crazy like that.
Alfie, I'm 100% sure that if we had beaten Newcastle, there's no way on the face of this earth that Arteta would have come up with those comments there. There's no way. Just score the goals. Just beat the opposition and don't rely on the referees.
You can't beat the opposition if you have one shot on target in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, in Spanish, we have an expression that is like the kicks of a drowning man. It's just unnecessary. It's disrespectful, I think, because that's the reason that Man City win games 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. So if the opposition just scores one random goal that is a little bit suspicious, well, they don't care because they already scored 3 or 4. So I understand why. And you cannot go into a football game thinking that, oh, all of the decisions are always against me. I mean, there were, aspects where we can argue, like Fergie time, it was a thing. There was always giving him, a couple of extra minutes at the end. But technology, yes, for support, but technology is not going to make you, if you rely on technology to win the games for the legs to run, then we are done. There is no need for coaches then, because yeah, I think before we argue and we complain, I think we need a proper I don't know how to say it, a proper captain, someone that can speak to the refs, but not only
Yeah.
talk nicely, but also like to be a presence, because sometimes we are too nice as well.
Mm.
Sometimes they have scored goals that are a bit, dodgy like that, and we just take the ball and we start again, which is a good mentality. We just restart. But sometimes you have to fight, but you have to fight before, not after.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I don't agree. I don't agree with his attitude. It's just, and the statement of the club, I don't agree either. Is just, it makes us look bad, like crybabies. And at the end of the day, let's say that that goal was not given. People start thinking, oh, if that didn't happen, then we would have done this. But if and buts, I think if that goal wouldn't have been given, we would
Mm.
have just draw the game. It's not that we were dominating. It's not that. No.
Yeah.
I think Raya was making mistakes. I think we were not clear. We definitely missed Odegaard. Havers was doing his Havers thing, whatever it is. So, so yeah, no. I think it's unprofessional.
Mm. Isaac, what kind of concerned me about the whole situation is, I mean, Alfie mentioned it there about the club coming out and supporting the manager. And I'm thinking, what were to happen now, come tomorrow when we're playing against Burnley, and there's another contentious decision which goes against us? It's like the club haven't give them space to maneuver. They've made a statement. They supported the manager. What happens come tomorrow? There's another contentious decision. Isaac.
I believe I I came across a VR audio that was released after the Newcastle game, and most of the communications were like, "Okay, it is unconclusive. It is unconclusive. Is the ball outside? No. The VR, the only angle they could access was one angle that was unconclusive, and then there was the issue of the fall on Magalhaes, and then it was also unconclusive. You see, when it is unconclusive, it is the referee to decide,
No, but
and that
what
is
do
the
you
rule.
think? Isaac, what did you think about the ball being out, the offside, and the so-called push on Magalhães? What did you think? Do you think at one point of those incidents there should have been denied Newcastle the goal? Forget about what they said. What did you think about those issues there?
For me, you Via. I remember when we were a two-man team on the show during COVID. There is something I said about VR. I said it is a double-edged sword. It's going to favor you at times, and at times you are going to feel hard done by the VR.
Oh,
Sometimes United
oh.
and my United friends, the, the they keep telling me that we've robbed them in both games. My United friends, we've won two games against them, and all I hear is that we've been robbing them in those two games. So we've, as Prosper and Alfie said, win your games. Do not depend on VR decisions. Play excellent. You can have two or three goals, and even if the opposition scored a controversial goal, you have your goals to yourself, and then the VR you can deal with it, or you actually if you won that game and Newcastle had scored a controversial game, you will not hear Arteta rant. You will not, because he'll be happy with the win, despite the fact that Newcastle scored. The issue is, it is an emotional game, it is an emotional sport, and it is you making a statement immediately you feel you are done by. That is how
Mm,
it is. In any case, when you're making a statement, and actually, someone once told me, do not make a decision when your emotions are too high.
mm,
Even when you want to make a statement when your emotions are too high, you rather refrain, because you will say everything that is on your mind. You will give us how you disappointed, you will tell us how you've been hard done by, I don't know, 7 times. I don't know, last season you were robbed of 9 points, you could have won the title. You are not the only team that has been hard done by the VR. The other day it was Liverpool, and theirs was clear. Even there was an apology. Despite that apology, they lost the game. So do not depend on the VR decisions. Have your Havertz on the bench, have your Trossard on the game, and you win the game, and you will not rant.
um, yeah, no, it's childish. It's just childish. And if this would have happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, then this wouldn't even be a conversation.
yeah, absolutely. Prosper, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just thinking Arteta is losing it because no, I have to be honest, Arteta is losing it because I mean
I've heard the
last
same thing
season
actually. I've been told the same thing.
went so well for him. Actually, he's been ascending. He's been ascending, and then this season looks like it's a bit tougher for him. So when it gets tough, that's when you see the weeks of a manager, how tough he is, and now I've got this strong feeling where like now he's trying to push everything toward the blame towards everybody, but at the end of the day, it's him who picks the team, and it's him who's playing players like Havertz. It's him who's playing a system that's so slow. And I was very impressed with the the Sevilla game. Sorry, the movement was so fast. It was way better than we've ever played in the Premier League. Martinelli kept on calling for the first 15 minutes was kind of slow. Then Martinelli started calling for the ball faster, and they were
Mm,
giving him, and he was making those runs, and it was beautiful soccer to watch. You know, but come tomorrow, you'll find us playing a very slow-paced game, and then you'll be wondering, isn't the manager right next to the pitch, and he's just watching there? So you see, so if things go wrong, Now he starts blaming everyone. No, it's the referees. No, it's what? It's VAR. I mean, come on. How many mistakes has he made? He started making the mistakes right in preseason. He didn't make the right signings that we needed. You see, like we were saying, the injuries, Partey is injured. That's a big gap. We've been talking about that for the past 2 seasons. So now has he got to blame the referees for one bad decision? He's been making a series of them, you know? And come December, he'll continue making those. And then when Vieira does its Vieira thing, he'll start blaming the referees. I mean, it's so wrong. For me, that's why I'm standing on the face. Yes, you should, as Isaac has spoken and Alpha has spoken, yes, you should inform them, but how you do it also matters. You know, you need to wait and make logical statements where those
Yeah,
guys, if they sit down, they should also understand, okay, I think we've got a genuine grievance here where people are saying this. He would have made it in a professional way, where he would have respected those guys in a certain way and respected the system, but letting out his point in a nice way where those guys have to get, because right now we've just been made targets of the referee association.
exactly.
You see,
I was thinking
we've
the
been
same
made
thing.
targets now.
Yep.
You see, and those guys, this whole thing of, oh, we are supporting Arteta's statement, it's the club trying to back up the wrong decisions that Arteta's made, because they've just been watching on the sidelines. When
Mm.
Arteta makes all the wrong decisions, they don't put pressure on him. They keep saying we've got confidence in Arteta. Everyone in their job must not feel comfortable. They should have that pressure where they should feel like, okay, if I goof, I'm going to be replaced. When do you see the administration of the Arsenal, the board, putting pressure on Arteta and telling him you need to win this and this game? No, it's all calm. We lose cup games, Carabao and whatever. We lose those small cup games. It's all quiet. The administrators don't make any statement like we need silverware or anything. Instead, they back him up when things have gone wrong. You see? So
That's
for
that,
me,
that's another thing. Does it always have to be Arteta to come out and talk to the press? Can't it be somebody else, up higher to come front and center and actually explain the thoughts of the club rather than Mikel Arteta literally every single time, Alfie? Does it have to be him?
Um, well, it depends, because he is the one that make those statements.
Yeah,
We back him up. I don't know why, but we did.
I don't back him up.
Exactly. Uh, but then I don't know. I think no, I like that idea that the manager is in charge of it,
Okay.
because we're used to it, and Wenger was very good at it, and he covered his players very well. He didn't. I mean, he was passionate as well, but he didn't throw tantrums, and that's a good thing. But I think that that comes with experience, and you just show your opposition that you're crumbling, and that's not good. And no, no, I just don't see why. I don't know. For example, Edu would have to come out and say something.
Okay.
It's just unnecessary.
Okay. Isaac, do you have? Do you want to say? Is Mikel Arteta losing
Mhm.
it?
Yes, he is. He is losing it, and he sets the standards too high for himself, and he has to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
don't think we're doing
I'll,
that. Sorry to interrupt, Isaac. Like, I don't think, like, I don't want to criticize him because he's been good and everything, but he just have to be a little bit of level-headed, because he doesn't want to be too stubborn and continue making the mistakes. That's what you have to learn. Sorry, Isaac.
okay, I was saying we had an education system in my country where you were rated with the marks you achieve. But unfortunately, this is the final year we having that education system. It has been changed, where if you scored uh, 450 marks out of 500, that is a standard you've set for yourself. The teachers we expect you not to drop. They expect you to
Hmm.
maintain or improve, and that is what exactly what Ateta did for himself. He overachieved, and having overachieved, that is something he has to deal with And dealing with it does not mean ranting on the decisions. Dealing with it doesn't mean he is to make wrong decisions. Dealing with it means he's got to mature. We know he's a rookie manager, but he's got to mature. He's got to have a cool head. He's got to improve his tactics, because it is that just the other day I was watching the Brentford manager explain the style Ateta plays. When you are too predictable, and then teams set up in a low block because they know you cannot bypass a low block. You've got to have options if there is a low block. If this is a team that plays a low block, you know how to handle a low block. If this is a team that has an open system, you know how to deal with that. And I'm liking what Xavi is doing in Bundesliga. If you score two, I'll score four. If you score four, then I'll score six and win that game. That is what Xavi is doing. He's no pressure.
You
But on our side, he's become too cautious, and that is what is something that is not okay with me. Being too cautious, you look at Man City, you look at Liverpool, they are brave. They've won the games. They are brave. You, if you lose a battle that you know I have fought well this battle, but you lose and you are conservative. You lose and you have no shots on goal. That one is even more painful than losing when you know I have fought a good fight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say to Isaac that he has to be careful when he says Xavi. Just say Xavi Alonso because if it's the other Xavi, then Arteta is gonna start blaming it that the grass was too long.
No, Xavi Alonso. The Xavi in the Bundesliga is Xavi Alonso.
Because he said, "Oh no, we lost the game because the grass was too long." It's like, hey, listen, that's too much of an excuse.
Guys, let's go into the live chat before we go to the last segment. So we've got Ashudid, the moderator for this particular Easy Talk. He says, "Hey up, goodness! It's Friday night with Alex and the Crazy Gang." And then we've got Emerson who says, "Good evening, gents. Good evening to you. We need a striker. Just because we beat Sevilla, don't get too excited. We have not been doing so well against top teams. So do need a top class striker, and we are not Man City. But I always ask the question: we need a striker. Which striker is out on the market that's available?"
I don't know,
We'll
but
give you Ivan Toni.
if we would have given 25 more million, we should have taken Kane. Just keep Havertz and bring Kane. No, no, I'm joking. I wouldn't have taken him, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a lot available. Blahovic maybe.
Prosper, striker, Arsenal.
I only had Ivan Tony on my mind. I haven't thought deep about it because we're not yet there in the period. But as Alfie was saying, there's so many ways of killing a rat. You know, if we can't get the striker, why can't we get the high quality midfielders? You know, why can't we get a proper defending, very athletic defending midfielder, a proper attacking, good center midfielder, very skilled, and another attacking midfielder to supplement Odegaard? You see,
Yeah.
so that we can have goals coming from everywhere. Why can't we get that? You know?
Well, Prosper, you sound like a manager, man.
No, we've just been understanding the game a lot. We've been studying the game a lot.
Yeah. Again, it's not a criticism because I think we're doing great. Like we're maintaining the level this season. But what I'm scared is that we lose a couple of games and then we lose the plot and then we don't end up in a good position as we did last year.
Mm.
So Yeah, that's the scary part. But I understand why he acts in the way he acts. He just needs to learn from it and be responsible and accountable for the decisions that he makes.
Yeah,
If we don't achieve anything and Havertz doesn't score anything, he has to say, "I'm sorry."
yeah, yeah. Um, uh, Ashley says Havertz still missed from 10 centimeters. He is useless. I'm saying nothing, man. Most teams
Alex,
yeah,
before you
go
continue, you were saying he's a strong header.
on.
He missed a sitter. How do you say that?
Oh
But
yeah,
he
no,
can
oh
head
that was
balls.
fun.
You
No
head this
pressure
way. You do not
whatsoever.
head this way. You head this way. You head to the target, not outside the target. This is not rugby. This is football. You have to hit the target. So for you to score goals, you have to hit the target. He has a poor touch. He cannot head the ball, and he's too tall. And you tell me he's a strong header? How is that happening? That one is not happening
Sorry,
for
man.
me.
I take that one back. I take it back. Oh dear. Anyway, Emerson says most teams other than Man City use a target man for flick-ons, and you have to change your formation. But Arteta is stubborn insofar as he wants Arsenal to play this way. They don't play with a target man. So if we were to have a target man, we'd have to change the philosophy as to how we play football. And it's not going to happen, is it, Alfie? It's not going to happen, man.
No, it won't happen, and hopefully it won't happen because I don't know if you remember, like a couple of years ago when Man United had Fellaini, and they just throw him there and they just throw him balls. It was so sad to football, and that was with Mourinho. It's horrible. It's horrible when teams start playing like that.
But
Um, Sometimes it's necessary.
yeah,
Yes, you need a tall striker there. We had Bednar, it was horrendous as well, but we had him. Um, so yeah, we have to see the options. Just be available for every type of game.
Prosper, you look like you're bursting to say something, man.
Yeah, but you can raise the same arguments because if we're talking about proper number nines, let's not look at the weak number nines. Let's look at the top number nines that have been in soccer. We can look at Benzema. We can look at the Berbatovs. We can look at all these guys that have really made a mark on the natural number nine, the DJ Drogba's and all those. You know, when a team has that dynamicness, even Arsenal, I mean, even Wenger had about three systems that he played. If the Thierry Henry, the flanks couldn't work, the Lumberg, the Thierry Henry couldn't work, he would throw in Nwanko Kanu in the center. Then Adebayo took over as a big guy in the center on position number 9 just to keep the ball, you see. And the Bednars were just supplements, not that good, but they were just there on the bench as supplements. But I mean, this time around, I'll take Bednar over Kai Havertz. This is what I was looking at, no?
Me too.
Back then, we had all these players we used to keep on the bench, and they were way better than what we have right now on the bench. You see? So, all we're
Mm,
trying to say is a top club like Arsenal shouldn't just have one system. We've got the money, we're a top club. We should have three, four systems. If this isn't working, you substitute, you put in other players, just to win the game, win the trophy. I remember there was a time, I'll take you back a bit. You remember now? There's a time Manchester United was lacking. Was it behind us in the Premier League or behind Chelsea? They didn't have a number 9. Ferguson had to go and pick up Henry Larsson, who had retired from Barcelona, and they won that league in December. That was a
Mm,
tactical move. You have to really see your weaknesses and say, okay, fine, I'm going outside my ways. I'm taking a big gamble, but a good gamble, just to get in those 5, 6, 7, 10 goals to win you the league. You see? So we need that. We need that knife edge, where we can say, okay, we have right now we have Jesus and Nketiah. That's the same player, small. You know,
mm.
they rely on skill, pace. But where do we have where we can't? penetrate into that box with passes? Do we have a tall guy we can give the ball to who can knock in headers? We can cross high balls, knock in headers, and if those guys head them back, we have people shooting from outside the box. When was the last time we had people shooting, taking shots like the Steven Gerrards and the Lampards? You see, we only play in one system where we have to go into the box and then score from 2 centimeters away, and where our dear beloved, Jay-Z number can't even score. So it's
Mm.
just one of those things where I'm looking at it tactically. Our game is so predictable. We're not taking.
The
We
thing
have
about
players that can take
Arsenal,
shots from far. We have Rice can take shots from far. Martinelli can take shots from far. And Ketia just proved it. The other day he scored a goal from far, a very good goal. But when the manager is always in your ears, no, you have to play it like this. You have to play
Yeah.
it like this. So the players are not there to express themselves. You know. So for me, I think we really we really need to look at this in a tactical way, whereby we say we go 60 minutes, we can't score using our normal system. Let's substitute a bit of players, put in big number nine, and just throw in the balls in the 18-yard box. Whatever ricochets back, people can shoot from far. And probably deflection, it's in the net. That's football, I mean. But we only have one system, and if Martinelli is marked, Saka is marked, the game is done.
You mentioned the Babatov, and some commentator was lying to us that Havertz is a Babatov kind of player. For me, he's not. And if you want to really have him in the midfield, that is so wrong. He's a striker. You can have him on the bench as a third striker if you want to, but then bring in a left-sided midfielder. That is okay. He could be your plan C, not plan B actually, plan C, but it is an expensive plan C which is earning 350,000 a week. That is so expensive for a plan C, and that is where the manager gets it all wrong. But we really need to improve. We were happy last season. We were very happy, and I can see we are going back to pick our shock absorbers because we should really have them ready. Otherwise, we'll be disappointed the way Ateta is going. Just keep your shock absorbers ready because he might disappoint us. How do you lose to West Ham, a cup game, where you've rested your main players, thinking that you are going to win your Newcastle game, and then ending losing the Newcastle game? That is so childish, as Alfie was saying. You win what you have now. Play the game you have at hand. Win that game, and it will give you momentum coming the next game. But resting players because you have, I don't know, a Newcastle game and you lose this game and it is a disappointment, you go to the next game, then you lose, and then you end up blaming the VR for your decisions going back to the West Ham game where the
Mm.
VR was not involved in any way. You just, as a manager, he should plan well, uh, put in the field the proper players to play that game. You do not have to justify that I brought this player. We will not crucify you. You just have him on the bench, win the game. We'll be very happy. We'll not even remember that player is earning so much.
But Isaac, do you think maybe it also goes down to the fact that his number two is not the most, doesn't have the strongest of characters to question, Arteta? Oh, you know what? I'm going to play, not the strongest of 11s, against West Ham, but maybe a strong number two might say, actually, we need to keep the momentum. Let's, play with a strong 11. So when we come against Newcastle, we have that momentum. So is it the fact that he doesn't have a strong number two? Is that a problem there for him?
Ateta is stubborn. He does not
Mm,
take advice. Uh, and that one it is a pattern you can see.
mm.
Even hates criticism.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's some time back when Magales told him he's a baby coach and he benched him. I think Magales had to apologize for him to come back. That definitely he did apologize for him to come back. And he's a baby coach. If his players can see he's a baby coach, he's a baby coach, because it does not make proper decisions at some point.
Yeah,
A 25-year-old sees you as a
ego
baby
takes
coach.
the better of him. Yeah, for sure. And that's not a good thing. It's not healthy. Like your ego wins. It's not good. And
Yeah.
Isaac, I just wanted to say that Berbatov was 35, smoking, and still scoring.
Yeah.
That's that's the difference. And for Prosper also, you said something. I forgot. Oh yeah, that we are predictable. The thing about Arsenal is that we always try to walk it in. That's our thing. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we do miss shooting from outside the box. We have to.
We have to, but that's not the way Arteta wants the players to play, isn't it? Try and with patterns of play, no shooting out from the outside of the box. Anyway, listen, let's go on to the last topic on this easy talk. And it's oh my goodness, Burnley, man. Somebody has to lose. And it won't be Mikel Arteta. You know what? I can see the chopping block for Mr. Vincent Company. Doesn't have the best of records. They played 11, drawn 1, and lost 10. Oh dear, Prosper. What's going to happen for this game against Burnley, man?
Mm, just before I think we came to the last segment, I was just about to mention Arteta is a very fortunate manager because he hasn't climbed the ladders like his friends are doing. You see, it's one thing to be a baby manager and start with a team like Burnley, and another thing to start with a team like Arsenal or Liverpool because you play with good quality players. So even if you're a baby manager, sometimes you can pull out wins. But imagine being a Burnley playing against Arsenal, being a Burnley playing against Man City, and you're a baby manager. So we might be saying Vincent Company is not a good manager, but it's a team. I mean, look at how Ancelotti struggled with Everton, but you give him Real Madrid, he's back on top. So Ateta is a very fortunate manager, and I just feel uncomfortable because I just don't feel nice about it because he doesn't look at it like that himself. He's too stubborn. He doesn't take it like, okay, I'm very fortunate to be here at a club where everybody is so calm. The management has always been so calm, whether the top management, whether the current manager is losing or whatever, they're not that aggressive to fire you. So for Burnley, I see that as a win for us because they're really struggling. It's a win for Arsenal. It's a straight win unless Ateta does his Ateta thing. Then, because I've seen there's that complacency when we're playing a small team, we so complacent and then we go to half time 0-0, then we start pulling up our socks. But when we're playing Man City, it's serious business from the word go. So I'm like, why don't we bring in the same energy? This is a Premier League in each and every game. Why don't we do the same? You know? But you observe tomorrow, if we don't get a quick goal, a quick fluke goal or something, or because of lapse of Burnley, then you go to halftime 0-0 and we'll be struggling, panicking in the second half, trying to get a goal just to make us get that 3 points, which is not okay. I want to win games in the first half, the Ferguson way. First 15
Yes,
minutes,
please.
last 15 minutes of the half, the game is done. Second half is dance time where people can have fun. You can put in the Harvard and whoever you want to put in. The game is already buried. You know?
Isaac, game tomorrow, Burnley.
We've got to win that game, but I give us an analysis of what has been happening. Last season, we were trying to win our games in the first 15 minutes of each half. We really wanted to score the first 15 of each half goals. That is for last season, and you could see a majority of our goals came in the first 15 minutes of each half. But this season, our first 20 minutes are primarily for keeping clean sheets, and we want to win the last 15 minutes. That is what has happened, and I don't know where that idea came from. If we did what we did last season, hit them quick before they realize what has hit them, then you have a second goal. before they settle down, you have a third goal, and then you can bring down the tempo and then control the game. That was a very good system. But right now, you're focusing on keeping a clean sheet the first 20 minutes, and then the opposition grows into the game, and then they park the bus. And then you start struggling to break down the blocks, and that it becomes hard. I would really like we go back to the system last season, hit them quick before they realize you have a second, third goal, fourth goal, and then you are winning the game comfortably. But come tomorrow, he has to win. For me, he has to win. For me to forgive him for having Havertz on the field each and every time, he has to win.
Alfie.
It's true. I mean, have him, but win every game. Yes, it's a perfect logic right there. But I just again building up of what Isaac was saying. We're very good at reacting. I've seen sometimes other teams score against us, and we're very quick to come back. But what happened is that can cost, because for example the Southampton game, which was the game that I went to see, at one point we were 3-0, losing by 3, and yes, we tried to react, but it was already too late, and we couldn't do more than that. And even though Walcott came out to say I'm so sorry to have scored, and he actually was like crying, he's a professional, fair enough, but it can cost to react. So it's better to act from the beginning. And yes, let's go. Let's gonna win the game comfortably. Let's gonna be 2-0 by the first half. So we can, just watch much of the day, relax at the end of the day.
But you know what, Alfie? It's very difficult to make a prediction unless you know what the starting 11 is going to be.
Yes.
Because you think, oh, yeah.
So complicated. It's so complicated, especially because don't get me wrong. Again, this particular session, we complain about Arteta, but he's not doing a bad job. Like, this is the first game that we actually lose, and it was because of a controversial decision. Maybe that's why he's hurt so much. But I think we have to keep winning, and we need to win games like the one tomorrow comfortably. We don't have to struggle. We just put any team that he's gonna play needs to win that game 3-0.
Mm. Oof, 3-0. Oh my goodness. Prosper, do you want to say something finally before we wrap up the show?
I think we tomorrow's game is a straight win. If I was to put my money, I was to put my money on Arsenal winning that game. But there are several times when there's some games where you're committed, you have something else to do, and then you're like, this is a straight win. I mean, let me just go and do something. And then somebody's calling you. Have you seen what your team is doing? And then you go and look at the scoreboard, you're like, what? you know? And I don't like this whole business whereby the second half we just have to bite our nails and be like, okay, let's just get this game done. Let's just get this game done. And then when the referee adds about 7 minutes, it's a whole long 7 minutes, like 90 minutes all over again. You know? So for me, I just want us to win games properly. The first half game is done. There's some games, and there's this point I wanted to raise. I think even before the show started, I was saying it's high time we started looking at our league as a mathematical league. I don't think as a club we sit down and say, let's collect this many points from these teams. Because if you look at it, we lose a lot of points from teams that we're not supposed to lose points from. There's just a period where we lose a game, we draw a game that we're not supposed to draw, and then we lose a lot of points because Man City, it's a 50-50 thing, probably a 70-30 thing. Us losing is more likely. So, these teams, we might drop points here, but let's not drop with this. If we're to win the league, let's not drop with this. So that when we drop with these big teams, we should be up there still. We don't do that. It's like we just switch off and then, oh, it's Burnley, it's beating us 1-0. Oh, okay, we'll pick up next time, then we'll compensate ourselves with a win against Man City. Then those guys are pulling away from us, pulling away from us. You see, so I think let's take tomorrow's game seriously. Like, it's a big, big team we're playing, and let's hammer them right from the start.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't see it as easy as that. You know, there's no given games in the Premier League. You know, the top teams can be beaten by the bottom teams, and even more so, you think it's typical Arsenal to lose the first game of the season against Newcastle, go against Burnley, who are struggling, and only for Burnley to pop us. But that's the good thing about the Premier League, you know. It's you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. Anyway, Isaac, you want to say something finally before we wrap it up? Yeah.
Well, it's good we are having a Burnley before the break, and we might not really struggle too much, like if we had a Man City before the break without an Odegaard. If there is no Odegaard tomorrow, then you can have your Trossard playing as an Odegaard then, and then you just win your game comfortably, and it is okay with us. For the fans, unfortunately, we want results, and that is the sport, and we don't care who you have on the field, but there are players who will complain if they are not performing. we will rant. For me, for instance, it is very hard for me because actually the other day, Alex, I showed you where we watch our games. It is an arena. We have we have Chelsea supporters, we have United supporters, we have Liverpool, or supporters from the other teams, and I'm the most vocal for the Arsenal fans. And when everything is going wrong, there are vuvuzelas in that arena. Everybody is looking for me, but you can see what you're doing, and it is hard. It is really hard for me. So I have to pull my shock absorbers and say, you see, that was a controversial win, but already we have lost that game. Uh, so let we want to be happy. Last season we were happy uh, until the tail end of the season when Arteta did his Arteta thing and he did not win. And let us be happy. We want to be happy. We've been so sad for the past decade. We want to be happy. You see, some of the fans have some of the fans have been telling me that some of the kids who've completed our education system have not seen us win a league, and I'm so disappointed that yes, we haven't won a league for hey, since 2004. That is
It's gonna be so
20
many years.
years.
Yes.
20 years. That is a grown up who who can start a family, and they have not seen us win a league. I Ateta, if you are listening to this, we want to be happy.
It's
Isaac. Yeah.
all I want is for him try to play again without starting Havertz, just to see what happens. Just one, just to see if it's worse.
Do you know what? We'll come to an end of this easy talk, man. I tell you what, that £65 million price tag is weighing heavy on Mikel Arteta as well as Kai Havertz's shoulder. To me, Kai Havertz looks like a player who's lost any kind of confidence that he may have had. He's just anyway.
But you see what,
Guys,
Alex? Chelsea were clever
of
in the
course
way
they
they were
were.
offloading. They were
Of course.
offloading players with big
Yeah.
monies, and I was like, really? How much for 65? And then you go to Mount for how much? And then you go to the Koulibaly, Mendy for how much? Really? So they have a business mind. They have, and the, the highest we've sold is 40. Aye, Jesus. Okay.
But before we end the show, is it the fact that Arteta is looking at Kai Havertz and thinking, actually, I can make him into a player that we need to have at Arsenal. And actually, it's not really working out. It's not working out. So at 65 million pounds, you've got to prove to the bosses upstairs that you made the right decision by spending 65 million pounds on this player. And Chelsea must be laughing. They must be laughing. I'm not convinced with Kai Havertz. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen, but
No, it won't. It won't happen.
oh my goodness. Anyway, we're finished on this easy talk. Prosper, good to see you back in the house, man.
Same here, fam. Same here.
Nice one. Say hello to the
Just want
family
to
from
be
us, man.
happy, like Isaac has said.
Chelsea, man. Oh my goodness. Alfie.
Thank you for having me back. And I'm gonna go with the same message. We just want to be happy. That's all we want.
Yeah. With that toxic girlfriend syndrome, man. Well, anyway.
I know, I know. But you still believe.
Listen, we're not going to win the league. I just want us to win a major trophy this season, whether it be the Champions League, that's not going to happen. The Premier League, it's not going to happen. FA Cup, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, guys.
You see what my Man United friends have been telling me, that that other teams, including them, had to lift a trophy, and the only thing we did was lifting our hands to surrender.
Change your friends.
Now, before I do end the show, someone's put a comment in the live chat, and I want to give an opinion on this. Havertz is still an upgrade on Granit Xhaka.
No. Capital letters. No. He is not. Not.
No
Not.
way, no way.
Xhaka was a fighter.
I have no
Xhaka can
comment.
control the ball. Havertz missing a sitter. Hey, ball control zero. I can even control the ball better.
On the ball control part, that's the one I
Yes,
did.
zero.
Like, I just saw him the
Zero.
first game. I was like, no, this is not a player, man.
Go on, Alfie. Go on, Alfie.
Hey,
Xhaka could pass sideways, and Havertz cannot even do that.
Tony, I have to disagree with you. Havertz, for me, is not an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. He's not an upgrade. But I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Anyway, we have finished the show on this note. I don't know whether Kai Havertz listens to Canon 40 TV, man. Maybe he's probably switched off. Yeah, there's no real support for Kai Havertz over here, man. But anyway, guys. Anyway, I will be back next week, Monday, getting back to the routine, doing like content on the channel. But guys, it's been a blast. An hour and 30 minutes. Really good chatting debates and a lot of talk about Kai Havertz. He's not an upgrade. He is not an upgrade on the X-Man. He's not.
I don't want to talk about him. Just put him in the
I know Prosper does, but we're not going to. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. And until then, this has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.
Thank you.